Hi.
Hey,
Hey, thanks for joining us. I'm Murray. I'm going to be moderating the talk today and the Q&A afterwards. Do you want to
nice
give a
to meet
quick
you.
introduction? Oh, sorry. Yeah, nice to meet you too.
I can do that, yeah. My name is Matteo, I'm 23 years old. I'm a solo developer from Germany and I make games now for 5 years and started as like a programming noob because I was drawing and like sketching things in my sketchbook since I was like 7 or 8 years old, but I never really wrote a line of code before and was always bad at math, so I dived into game development with like a zero programming experience and just as an artist. But yeah, now I've been a solo gamer for 5 years and made my games.
Cool. Yeah, I've been following your story online since the release of Paddle Paddle Paddle, and it's been pretty cool to see, your success from that project. I think that there's a lot of stuff that the people in the BOG community can learn from your approach. So some of the things I wanted to highlight about you were, that you, and let me know if these are correct. You spent 4 months working on your first game, or sorry, not your first game, but Paddle Paddle Paddle,
Yeah,
and you sold 140,000 copies to date. Is that a correct figure?
142,000 today, but yeah, it's
Hey,
almost correct.
nice. That's incredible. And congratulations on that
Thank you.
release and that success. Um, and yeah, and then the other things I wanted to highlight were you've got over a thousand Steam reviews on the game and an overwhelmingly positive rating. And I wanted to make sure that the people in our community know that like this is kind of a model for success in the indie space that we want to highlight because there's a lot that can be learned from indie devs from your story. So yeah, congratulations on all of that stuff. I understand you have some
Thank you.
slides to share and a presentation to share with us today.
Yeah,
Cool. I think we're ready to get started then. So if you want to go ahead and share screen, we can
yeah,
uh,
sure.
we can get it on board.
Okay, it's always it's always, I will just try to share it now. I hope it shares the correct window, but can you give me a feedback if you see the correct, like the
Yeah, looks
presentation here?
looks good.
Okay. Okay, then maybe I will just share my screen then and later when the Q&A starts, share my camera again, just
Sounds good.
to have it. Okay, perfect. So yeah, my today's presentation will be about 30 minutes, I think, and maybe a bit longer. We will just see how it turns out. But yeah, it's about Pede Pede Pede, a random idea, 4 months of development and 142,000 units sold. And this game shows that even like a small game idea like Pede 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 with only pressing A to pedal is basically the whole control scheme, can go viral and big because games don't always have to be like really um, filled with features, big, thousands of hours of playtime. Sometimes people just want a fun experience. So I made Pedal 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 to deliver one fun evening, maybe 4 to 5 hours of gameplay for the full game. And I will also add more content, of course, but the main game has about 4 to 5 hours of content. But yeah, I will just start right here. And first of all, I really quickly want to give an introduction to myself. My name is Matteo. I'm 23 years old, as I said before. I started game development in 2020, so 5 years ago. I'm still a student, so I don't right now do it full time. It's just like I do it like when I'm back from university every day. And I also work at my university or worked there 1 month ago because my contract ran out and I helped there with Unity problems, so nothing big. I released 2 commercial games. Monkey Stranger was my first one, and now Pede 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 on Steam. And I was also nominated at German Video Game Award and German Developer Award because I try to go to every event, take everything that I can take, submit my game everywhere, spend hours to fill out submissions form, but I think it's worth it in the end. I also develop small games focused on fun gameplay, so I don't really make big games, it's just like a small mechanic and stuff like that. But I think I said everything before in the quick introduction. But yeah, I came from an artistic background, so I was really new to programming and to math in general. I hated math in school, but you have to learn a bit of math for programming, I think. And I also want to start full-time indie in 2026. And yeah, here you can see I was drawing since like 10 years, I think. I drew on my paper or like digital, but I was always like the artistic person in games were my way to bring my ideas to life in the end. And I also want to quickly tell you how I started because most people question me how can I even start with game development because sometimes people just don't know where to start and where to begin. And I really want to tell you that making really small games, because you can see here I made really small games like, can you see my mouse here?
I don't think we can see your mouse, but
Okay, then I will just pretend that I'm showing that. But
okay.
these are really small games. Like for example, Catch and Pack in the bottom here, it's just you tap on the screen to move the baggage to the left and the right. So I just really wanted to learn how to make like one specific mechanic for the game, and that's how I improved myself over 1 year of development. Because this is my first, I think, 10 or 11 games I made, and there were game jams, really small prototypes and stuff like that, just to learn how to write code in Unity and how to write C# in general. Then I start with my first commercial game because I really want to get like from my first game to Pede in the end. But with Maki's Adventure, it was 2 years of development and it was my first pixel art game, so I learned a lot and it was a really fun experience and like my dream game because I always wanted to make a pixel art game because I love Pokemon Pearl and this pixel art graphics. So I tried to make my own pixel art game combined with sharks, as you can see in the top right screenshot, because Maki can turn into a shark demon in the water. And just quick about my first game numbers. It was in development for 2 years plus 1 year of post-launch content, like a level editor, a racing mode, and other stuff like that. I used Unity, Blender 3D for like the 3D hub world because the game has a 3D hub world where you can travel between the islands. I used Aseprite, as most of you maybe do if you make a pixel art game, and I also use Photoshop for textures and stuff like that, and for like cover arts and stuff. The price was $9, so $9.75, and the game sold around 12,000 units to date. It's like not really good commercially because it's like 3 years out on Steam, so it's when you take it over 3 years, it's not that much, but it was my first game, so I'm still proud of it. I have no publisher for PC. I'm self-published, but for consoles I used a publisher like East Asia to port the game and to get the game out there. And now it's really doing a good time on consoles, and it's like a good passive income. So I can always recommend you try, even if your Steam launch doesn't really go well, try consoles because a pixel art platform like Maki's Adventure did well on Steam, on Switch, for example. So even if your Steam launch didn't go well, maybe just keep going, and maybe it will be better on another console or like web because there's Opera GX where you can also upload your game, and I also did that with Maki's Adventure. Yeah, I also won 25,000 euros for my setup. Like I could upgrade my setup because I was nominated at German Video Games Award, and you get a prize money there. And also I had like contacts to Forbes and Vice, and they wrote an article there. And these are things I want to mention here because I learned like the people from press by being on Twitter, being on social media, posting about my game. And it's a really big thing, I would say, for indie developers to be active on social media because you don't only promote your games, but you can also connect with other developers, publishers, and also people from press who maybe like your game, and then you build up a connection over the time. And I will just quickly go here. It's like a 9 out of 10 by press on Steam, so it didn't sell really well, but it had like really good reviews. And yeah, I will just skip forward. Here you can see some articles from the game. And here is Rogue Jungle, my next game after this one. And the funny story is I paused Rogue Jungle after 1 year of development to develop Pede because the idea seemed more reasonable for me. Because Rogue Jungle is about 70% done, it's a roguelike dungeon crawler, vampire survivor-like, with deck building, and it did really well, so it had like a few thousand wish lists, people liked the playtest, but I felt like just completely breaking this project and just going with Pede instead. And here you can also see some gameplay. You basically just run around, you have auto-shoot weapons, and then you combine your weapons and build more better weapons to make more damage, and there you can see it's like a really cool survivor like in a dungeon. And I'm sure it will also do well, but it's not done yet, so I will see how it will perform in 2026. And now to Pede. The idea came while taking a shower, and the idea came just because I had to think about the Pede trip I had with my brother. So I think 1 year ago, in summer vacation we went because our parents are from Croatia, so we went to Croatia and we had like a paddle boat there from my uncle, and we tried it out, and paddling was so much fun but also so hard because it's like a teamwork mechanic. And then I had to think about that and think, why not just make a game out of the paddling aspect of like paddling in real life? And also games like Chain Together, and I will get to it here, because here are my inspirations. Chain Together, Carry the Glass, Fall Guys from the colors and from this like fun aspect. Because I think taking games that do very well and like bring a unique twist to it, like the paddle mechanic, is the perfect way to make a safe game as indie developer. Because the games don't really take long to develop. There's not much risk. Like even if you are like a solo dev like me, you don't really have to earn that much money to be a successful game developer. So making like a small game based on like gameplay that already exists, like this like really hard parkour games that are really blowing up right now, or a few months ago, is a really good idea for most indies right now. And here you can see how the game did really well with the first post already, because I'm a fan of promoting my games as early as possible on social media to check if people even like the game, find it interesting, and maybe have ideas how to improve it, because I think the community can help you to make the game or the idea even better. And of course, as I say in the bottom here, there's high risk, so people could copy the game, of course, if you post it on day one of development. And my game also got copied a lot, but I just take the risk and try it anyway, because people will copy the game anyway. Even if you just post it shortly before launch, people will still copy your game. So I would just say, get your games out as soon as possible, make a Steam page, and just make a rough prototype and look how people react to it. Because you can see on this post on the right side, it was yesterday that I started, so it was one day after I had the idea. And I just really made like with Unity default blocks and all reused assets from Monkey's Adventure, because the water and like the skybox and stuff and like everything except like I think the boat is an asset from Unity Asset Store, but everything else was just assets that I made before in Blender. So I just reused it to make like to slam together a prototype in Unity. And I just really want to get the mechanic out and see how people react to it. That's my way how to evaluate game ideas. And here you can see how the game evolved over the first week of development, because I think it's really interesting to see that I swapped from this like, I don't know if it's called realistic, but it's like more realistic looking than the right one. But it had like a really weird and chaotic, I think, art style before. On day 7 I tried to make it more simple, more colorful and more cartoony. And I'm really happy about the change because I think Day 5 is too chaotic and too crowded for this kind of game. Some people said Day 5 would look better in the end, but I was just not happy and changed this like to cartoony outlines, like more contrast with the colors. Like the water is more blue, as you can see, and it's like more friendly for the eyes, in my opinion. And also one thing I really wanted to get in was this like cartoony and funny art style, because as you can see the pedals are bigger than the two paddlers. And that's just because I really try to make it as funny as possible. So they have like this huge pedals, and they have to pedal through like this creepy and dumb parkour level. Yeah. So I am done with development now, and now we can talk about the demo. Because I wanted to make the demo in 2 weeks, because I saw the game idea was viral and was really popular and people liked it. So I really want to make a demo as soon as possible and get it out on Steam to have a playable version out and to get feedback on the playable version. Because sometimes seeing a trailer is better than actually playing the game, if you know what I mean. So I wanted to get like more practical feedback on the whole gameplay. And then I made the demo in 2 weeks. It started in March and the demo came out in end of March. So it was around 2 weeks of development of the demo. And the demo had 100,000 demo downloads until game launch in July. So it went really good because Monkey's Adventure had not that much amount of downloads. So for me it was a big success already with the game. And also big streamers in Germany played it because I reached out to them after they saw the trailer, like this trailer or gameplay on Twitter. Some of them reached out to me, so I saw the streamers would be interested, and then I shoot my shot and just try to send out DMs to them and emails and send out the demo link, because of course the demo doesn't require a Steam key, so it's easier to just send out a link and say there's a free demo on Steam. And one big thing is that I would always recommend you to make a standalone demo level. So nothing like you play the first 10 minutes of a full game, but more like making a small game, small extra level for the people to enjoy and to play. Because some streamers, a lot of streamers reached out to me and said that they don't like to repeat content. So I reached out to them and said, the demo is an extra level, so you don't have to repeat content. There's like two separate games, if you want to say it like that. So they then played the game because they saw it's an extra level, so they won't replay anything. And that's a really good thing because a lot of time when you send out the Steam key, some people just don't play it because there's something like the first 10 minutes of the full game, and people just want to play the full game then. So I would always say if you can make that, make an extra level for the demo. And the demo has to be, it doesn't have to be 1 hour, it can also be 10 minutes, 50 minutes, just like a piece of the full game experience, but then from a different cake, if you know what I mean. Okay, then as you can see, the game did really well, the demo. This is also just from the demo here, which was really happy for me, like because people played the demo and the wish list exploded. People saw the game, and I had a really big like community for the game before the game even launched. So the demo can really make a game go viral before the game even launched. And the funny thing is, I reached out to only two people here, to Paar Platte and to Zavex and Schradin from Germany. And all the rest just saw the game somewhere and played it. So the game had like something like a tsunami of content creators who wanted to play it after one of the biggest streamer in Germany played it. It was really crazy, but I'm really happy about that. And that's also the reason why people make this rage bait co-op games, because streamers love it. So it's like a hidden game machine, hidden gem, yeah, maybe something like that. And also one sad thing is that the game will go more viral if the game already went viral. So you kind of have to be viral to be shared by big press and stuff, and like big people on, like maybe for example IGN here, because they only shared the game in my opinion because the game already had a big like community around it. And I didn't even reach out to like the Japanese and Asian outlets here, but I really wanted to get one post from them for years now. So it was really cool that they finally shared the game, even without me reaching out to them. So it was like, I think one of the biggest streamers in Asia played the game, I think on Bilibili, and then they saw it, and yeah, I don't really know how it happened, but the game went really good in Asia, and I'm really happy about that. Also, Jake Lucky is one of my like connections on Twitter. I reached out to him with Maki's Adventure 3 years ago, and he kept following my journey, and later on then shared this game here, Pede Pede Pede, and it reached a lot of streamers because his audience is like a big streamer audience, an esport audience. So having someone like him share my game really lead to more streamers finding out about that. And that's why I always say make Twitter posts, make posts on social media, and if you don't really want to make social media content, your game success is not really guaranteed and not really possible, because people are a lot active on Twitter right now, even though Elon Musk took it. But you just have to be there, in my opinion, as an indie developer, because of the indie base, the press people there are there every day. So I have all my connections just from Twitter, and I can always recommend you to make Twitter posts, and yeah. And then I also reached out to IGN with this like trailer email from IGN, and they also made a post about that 1 day later. So the game's virality lead to more virality. Okay, now one thing that I always do is delay my games, and I think it's pretty normal in the indie space, but for me it was more like I wanted to delay it to get into the Steam Next Fest, because you have to think about the demo and the Steam Next Fest as two separate like big events, because on the demo launch you will get a huge boost in visibility, and if you then have the Steam Next Fest and the demo launch at the same point, you have like a combined visibility boost, but it's better to have them separate, because that way you have two big visibility boosts, not only one big. And I would always say release a demo, maybe for me it was after 2 weeks, and then the Steam Next Fest like 2 weeks before launch, because I had the Steam Next Fest in July, I think, or June. And I delayed the game to get in there, because Steam Next Fest is like the heaven for indie developers, because it's like a whole week, I think, where demos are more prominent on the front page, and streamers play a lot of demos there, and it's like the demo heaven for streamers also. So if you have a demo, maybe release the launch until you get to a Steam Next Fest date. Then also I got a publishing deal with Assemble Entertainment, and they took care of the marketing, PR, the localization that they provided with localization companies. And localization was really important because the game went viral after launch in Asia. Because I had Japanese, I had Korean, I had simplified and traditional Chinese, everything was supported. I think there are 15 languages in the game. And if you have the store page and the whole game translated, you get more visibility on Steam too. So I really wanted to get everything into the right direction. We have localization. There was like a better capsule art. Like before, there was a screenshot which looked terrible. Right now, we also have a Steam Deck verified. So we try to get everything done around the Steam page. We also included GIFs to the Steam page and make the Steam page look better. We have a Steam developer stream. And I don't even know why, but I see games releasing on Steam every single day where they don't even have like a developer stream on it. It's like, it's nothing special, just make it on because it's more visibility, because you are showcased in the Steam stream section there and more like promoted there. And also, most people, some people I saw in the last days had no launch sale, I think it's called, the launch percentage off. And I don't even know why, because it's also a big visibility boost, and yeah, it's just some things that I like recognized the last days when I saw releasing games and they didn't even do well, even though they had 100,000 wishlist sometimes, just because they had no sale, they had no Steam stream running and stuff like that. It's really important to have it, in my opinion. And I had 8,000 wishlists as my goal for the launch day, because 7.5 to 8,000 is normally the point where you have like popular upcoming featuring on Steam, and you are then promoted on the Steam front page in the popular upcoming section. And if you are in there, you get a few thousand. For me, it was 1,200 about that wishlist, like the 3 days before launch. So it got me from 8,000 to 11,000 some hundreds wishlist then. And then I also got, I think 8 hours after launch, I got into new and trending and stuff like that, just because I had everything set up on the Steam page, because Assemble did a great job there. And then also I had more time to playtest, because I had to delay the game, so I took more time to run a QA campaign with Assemble. We also had Discord playtesters, and the whole game got better because I could fix more bugs before launch. And also there was like a big German event called German Dev Days, where I got more feedback by persons who played the game in front of me, so I could directly see which sections didn't really fit well, which section was not fun. And I always say in-person events are the best way to playtest your games, because if you watch streamers, you can't really talk to them directly. But if you have like Gamescom or another like local event, you can talk to the people and see how they hold the controller, how they play things, and it's better to actually analyze how to make the game better. Then the game launch numbers. So I had 100,000 demo downloads, so people played the demo and were excited for the full game. I also had a playtest. In the demo, there was a feedback form button in the top right in the start menu, so people could get to a feedback form like a Google Doc, not a Google form, where they could fill in their feedback, their ideas, give a game a rating from 1 to 10 for the demo, and I could get, I think, 500 submissions there from people who played the demo and wanted to get their ideas in the full game. So I took at least 10 ideas from the community, which were posted in the feedback form for the full game. And you can also see here, I was also in new and trending, and it was a really big boost because it's like the perfect visibility boost on launch day. And yeah, as you can see here, before popular upcoming 8,000, on popular upcoming, so on launch day 11,000. It was a really, really big boost for me, and also because wishlist velocity is way more important than wishlist count. So if you have a game that is about 100,000 wishlists after 3 years, a game that has 20,000 wishlists in one week is way better from the Steam algorithm than the 100,000 wishlists, because the wishlists are more current and people are like excited about the game right now and not 3 years ago. So I always think about wishlist velocity, and you don't need 100,000 wishlists, you just need to have like one big post or like one campaign of people who played it who bring a few thousand wishlists to it before launch day. Or maybe just get them to popular upcoming for the wishlist velocity to go up. And then also here are the launch, like the sale numbers, because it was really crazy to me that Pede sold in 1 week more than Mackey's Adventure sold in the whole lifetime. which is crazy to me, but it's just because the game is way better to market. People like the game way more because it's more a casual game and not a pixel Metroidvania. So it was like just the genre was way better. And Maki's Adventure had more wish lists, but way worse wish list velocity. Because I collected 15,000 wish lists for Maki's Adventure over, I think, 2 years of development. And Pede had 11,000 over 4 months, so it did way better on launch day. Then you're in training for 4 days because I launched a game on a Friday, and most of you know that, but there will be no Steam launch on a weekend. So if you launch on a Friday and you are a big game, then you get the front page feature for the whole weekend until Monday afternoon, something like that. So it did a really good job for me because the game was on the front page for 4 days and the whole weekend, and it did really really well there on the front page. Then on launch day it was just crazy because all my goals were achieved because I had just wanted to make a game that streamers will be mad about, and I got it working. And the best thing about it is I didn't really contact anyone here. They just saw the game somewhere because Steam promoted it. People wrote it in the comments, can you play Pede? And they played it. So it was really just an awesome time here with the game. And marketing was not really needed for this game, to be honest. Then also co-op games were great at events. Like I said, this is my Gamescom booth. I was at a Game Up booth from Rheinland-Pfalz, like an area in Germany. And they had a really cool booth because it was on the floor directly. So people who walk through the indie area cannot really miss Pede there. And the good thing about a co-op game is people go with their friends to events. So you always have people who play together. And if you have 2 people or 3 people, then the whole booth looks more crowded and people will be more likely to stand here because they see it's a crowded booth. It might be interesting. So it's a really fun experience to make a co-op game because the booth was always crowded because there were 3 couples or 3 friends playing the game, and it was just going great because the booth looked crowded like that every single time. And it's an indie area, so it's not that crowded, but the booth did really well for me. And also there was a Gamescom Steam event, so some in-person events like Gamescom, I think also Gamescom in Germany, have a Steam page event, like a Steam event on the front page sometimes too. And the Gamescom event did really well for me because the game had a lot of players at Gamescom who bought the game afterwards at the event page. So I will always recommend you, if you have a local event, just go there and let your game play test by other people and get feedback from them, because it's the best way to test your game. And it's also way easier to connect with press at events than connecting with them via email, because as we all know, emails are ignored all the time. I'm the same, so I reach out to people and get no response from them. So I don't really want to reach out anymore because it feels just like wasted time. And talking to a press person, I saw someone from Future Game Show, from IGN, and just walked towards them and said, I have a booth there, do you want to play my game and try it out? And the best thing is that they already knew the game because I wrote an article about that, so it was a really fun experience to talk to them, and they are way better to talk to at events than they are available online, in my opinion, because emails just feel not personal, in my opinion. And then in the future, because Pede is not by far not done. You can see in the top right there will be a new map with vertical gameplay. There will be paragliders, frogs. There will be more different cool skins to unlock. There will be more 20 plus new mechanics to find out and stuff like that. So I plan to have a console mobile launch in 2026 because I think the game will do well on mobile and also will do well on consoles because it has only 2 buttons to press. I will add 2 new maps and new content because even though the game went viral already, I just really want to make the game more viral, get more people in, reach out to more people over time and keep up the momentum. And don't really want to stop here and think, I made it, but I just continue. Because I think I'm by far not done right now and I really have to get the game to more people and make the game even better now. And I also want to make a level editor because at some point I want to be like Happy Wheels where people make levels all the time and you can basically play an endless amount of levels and they are all shared on a database somewhere and I can just let people make the levels and play the levels, and as a developer you may feel the same, but playing levels made by the community is just awesome With Monkey's Adventure, I had a level editor too, and it's just awesome to play levels made by the community and see their ideas and just how they use your tools to make a game. Also, really important is bundles and collabs, because if the game is out on Steam, it's really worth it to reach out to other co-op games and maybe make a bundle there. Because then you get like combined visibility, because people who, for example, see the other game also see your game, and more eyes are on your game too, and it's just cool to bundle with the devs and connect to them. And Steam events are really important too. Right now there's a 4-player party sale on Steam with run page feature, which did really well for the units sold right now. And I would recommend you to go on sale as soon as you can, because as many of you know, you only really sell units if you're on sale. It's a sad truth, but with like, I think the normal amount of units sold right now are 600 to 700 on a normal day, and 2000 on like a sale day, for example. So it's crazy how a sale can boost the amount of people who play it, and in the end, it's just more people who play the game, and you won't really lose money if you go on sale every time, in my opinion, because you will just get more visibility on Steam. And also, I really want to make more streamer events, because the game is really perfect for events and like a speedrun competition, like a charity event where people have to paddle together on a big map or something like that. There's a lot planned for next year already. And then just my advice, I think it's like one of the last slides here, but I always say start with a small idea and then release them. Because pedal, pedal, pedal is just a basic idea of pedaling with a friend, nothing complicated. The complicated part came when I thought about making the game bigger and like adding the bed mechanic here, adding this top-down section, adding more and more during development. But the whole game should be based around one simple idea for most games, in my opinion. Like Pokemon is based around catching and letting like weird monsters fight against each other. And then the arenas and the other stuff came while developing it. So the whole core idea is just one simple one sentence idea for the most games. Then I would also say post on social media as early as possible and as much as possible. And I always like to, because I have still a ride of 1 hour to my university every day, so I use this time, and I drive bus, so I can use this time to post on social media, to make content, to edit content, to work on my laptop, because it's the perfect time. I cannot really do anything else except watching out of the window, so I just use this time to make my social media posts there and stuff like that. So it's really important to have a good time management. And you will find time anyways. I think there's no human who has no time. You just have to think about better time management. And then also analyze the Steam market, because you have to see what genre is trending, where can I make games. And these points are just for people who want to make commercial, successful games. And of course, I will also make some games in the next years who are just based on like my ideas and not really on like making a commercially and viral game. But if you want to make a viral game like Pedal Pedal Pedal, and I did all the things here, I just saw what games are like doing really well right now and how can I make my own game out of it. And I think that's like for most indies the perfect way to do it, because I did my dream game, Monkey's Adventure. I have like no other dream game, to be honest. I just want to make fun games now, because Monkey's Adventure is done. I made my dream world, my dream characters. I made my things come real, so now I can make fun games and focus on smaller games now. Also, funding, you have Kickstarters, publishers, game funding. In Germany, you can apply for like a game fund in your like area, and there's a lot of cool people who you can connect with at events, and they can help you to set up the game funding proposal and stuff like that. And one thing is a focus on your strengths, because I think for me it's not art, as you can see. I am more like I like to make fun gameplay, like the shark diving, like this pedal mechanics. So just make fun games and make the art as good as I can, but don't really focus on it that much. Just make it fit to the game. And then you have to get more games out. Most developers accept Are We There Yet, Repo, Among Us maybe too. I think they can live from it for the lifetime. But most developers cannot really live from one game. You have to get more games out, and don't really treat one game as your baby and as a personal thing. Just get them out and improve them, make them better, but at some point you have to let them go and leave them to the market on Steam. And yeah, to avoid burnout, take breaks. I have to learn that too. I don't really take breaks, and with Monkey's Adventure I was shortly before burning out, to be honest, so I learned a lot. with taking breaks and making more smaller games to not get into the burnout area again. And then, of course, the bigger the team, the more money you need, because most people want to make a full team for the first game. And I'm like, most teams cannot really make the return of invest point because they are too big. Think about if you have like 3 people, like a programmer, an artist, and like a composer for music, then you have to pay 3 salaries, and it's way too much for most indie games already. With Pede, I can live really good because I'm a solo developer. But if I had like 1 or 2 more people in the team, then the revenue would not be enough anymore. So if you have like many people in the team, you have to make really big and more commercial games then. So I would say it's enough to have maybe one coworker, one friend who helps you, freelancers who make it with a contract and don't really take revenue share. And yeah, you can hire someone via Fiverr and stuff like that if you need help with like music, for example. But yeah, I think I'm done right now. It's the end, and I'm here to answer every question. So feel free to ask me anything about the presentation, about game development.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That was really informative, and I think that I'm hoping people will take away all those lessons for their own games and really kind of be inspired by this story, because I think it's really great what you were able to do in such a short amount of time. If you have any questions for Matteo, please leave them in the chat, either here in the BOG stage chat or in the channel we've created for this event. I have a couple just right off the bat. So Masked Man asks, what do you believe was the most helpful and impactful strategy you employed when marketing your game? You touched a bit on this in the presentation, but what was the one thing you think, if you could choose one thing, that was the most effective strategy?
I think reaching out to people who can share my game. So reaching out to streamers, reaching out to like Jake Lucky or Jake Saki, how it's called on Twitter, reaching out to people who can help you to make the game better and bigger and promote the game more bright. Because like people like Jake love to make a giveaway, for example, and I knew that because I had seen his post before. So I reached out to him and said, "Do you want to give out 10 Steam keys for Pede?" And this post did really well, and more people saw the game. So I would say, find people who can want to share your game and find out what they would like to share. And people like IGN like to share viral games, so I reached out to them with the viral game with like the numbers from the demo, and they made the trailer post 1 day later. So I would definitely say reaching out to people helped really much, like reaching out to Assemble, and they reached out to me, but then we had like a call, and then we had like a discussion, and then the contract, and then they definitely helped to make the game as good as it is right now because they made all the marketing and stuff. To be honest, I just make the game, I just develop it, and they take care of reaching out to PR agencies who can then promote the game. But I'm more like the developer, and they make the publishing part, like a publisher should do.
Cool. Yeah, that's awesome. I think that's one of the things that a lot of, especially solo devs, struggle with, is balancing the time commitment between doing the marketing, the promotion stuff, and actually just making a good game. So that sounds like it definitely helps having the publisher who can take on those tasks for you. MX Shade asks, I only have prototypes, but I've put them on a site where I can do some paid promotions for view and attention. What I think what they're trying to ask is like, what are the best platforms for promoting prototypes, right? You mentioned you had some success on Twitter and on TikTok. What were the big takeaways for like what kind of projects you choose to promote or you choose to market test?
Before I started with my first commercial game, Marcus Venture, I made 12 like small games and prototypes. I published them on itch.io, and I always like use like, because I had like one tower defense game and made all the art myself. So then I thought I will never finish this game, so I would just sell the art as an asset pack. And then I think I made $50 from this, $50 from just selling it on itch.io as an asset. So I just recycled them, and people could make a game out of it in the end, and I could help them like that. And I just shared them on Twitter. I also share a lot on like YouTube, but my YouTube follower base is really small, so it's not really worth it to talk about that. But more like on Twitter, on Reddit is really good for pixel art games. Like there's a Reddit Pixel Art, Reddit Metalvania, who help like I think one post on Reddit Pixel Art had like 9,000 upvotes and lead to like 4,000 wishlists, because on Reddit there are only gamers and not casual people in the gaming subreddits. So if you
Mhm.
have like a pixel art game and post it on Reddit Pixel Art, then it's basically like the perfect spot for this game. And people really like, because on Reddit you have to be personal. You have to phrase your like headline like, my name is Matteo, I'm 23 years old, this is my first video game, I love pixel art, so I want to make a pixel art game with sharks. And this personal thing really connected with people who also want to make games, but didn't really make the step to make games. And they are like, I also really want to start with making games, but you are the first one here who actually made it. And the people on the pixel art really were like me and really just wanted to make a pixel art game. So they
Mm.
also bought the game, they're really supportive. The Reddit pixel art community is awesome. And I'm really
Cool.
happy to promote my games there already. And of course, I'm a bit like a spammer there too, but the moderator said it's okay. So I'm fine like that, I think.
Yeah, Reddit can be kind of brutal with the mods, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean that part about, it's better to have a post that has less views but a higher conversion rate, right? So if you can get into the communities that will be the people who want to wishlist your game, that's the
Mm.
key. What sort of lessons about releasing a game had you learned from game one? So you talked a bit about this, but I think, particularly like on the marketing side,
Mm.
was were you as good at marketing, tweeting, posting, reaching out when you started game one as when you started Paddle Paddle Paddle?
No, by far not. I just found like an old account on Twitter from me. It's just my name and then like my old screenshot as a cover. Like there was not really a profile picture. It was like a screenshot of the game in the profile picture, and which looked terrible. But I had to learn a lot. So it is a journey over years, and you get better and better over time. And no one starts as a like marketing genius. And I am
Mhm.
also far from a marketing genius. But I just improve myself and learn how to make Twitter, how to participate with Twitter trends and stuff like that. You also have to be active in the communities and see what are people posting there. Like this, my game is good, but the algorithm something like that. You know, this Twitter trends where it's like the algorithm just ignores it and stuff like
Yeah,
that. And
yeah.
participating in these like Twitter trends is awesome, and you will learn them over time, and you will also connect with people. I had like a collab with Telekom, like in Germany here. I had like streamers reaching out, and I built like a community there for the game, and also my personal network there on Twitter over the years. But it's a long path, and I think you won't be successful in the next 2 weeks or 3 weeks, but it's like a long path to go. And if you don't want to go it, then you are wrong in game development, because game development is not focused about making money. It's focused about learning, making games, and improving yourself, and the money will come in the end anyway. So I just would say, make the games, get better over time, and don't think about money and success as much. Just go your path, and you will get there someday.
Yeah, that's true. I think the big kind of add-on I would have to that is and focus on getting better at all aspects, including the marketing stuff, because I feel like there's a
Yeah.
lot of devs who just focus on the game and don't ever, you know, get better at those other skills and the business skills that are a lot of the reason that some games achieve success, right?
Mhm.
Um, your biggest takeaways regarding implementing online multiplayer. So I saw online you used Photon for this game.
Yeah.
What was the big challenge for implementing that online multiplayer?
To be honest, the multiplayer part, because I don't really know anything about multiplayer. I'm just lucky that Photon exists, and you see, I don't even knew what peer-to-peer was before making Pedal 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 and stuff like
Hmm.
that. I learned it while making the game, like making the multiplayer work, but Photon, I can't really take credit for the multiplayer, because Photon is more like WordPress, so it's more like
Hmm.
a sandbox to make multiplayer games. And of course, you have to know the principles, like a host and a client system and stuff like that. You have to know about latency, and you also have to implement client-side prediction at some point. But these are sections and areas that will be learned over the time of developing the game. So I started with Pedal 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 with almost 0% of knowledge of multiplayer game networking. But I learned everything by going into the Discord communities, asking questions, learning about. I think there's one call with like Eric Pessers from Photon with Jonas Tyroller on his YouTube channel, and I
Mhm.
saw this video a lot and watched it over and over again to learn how just the fundamentals of multiplayer networking like function and stuff like that. So of course you have to know the theory about it, but I learned it while developing the game. So I'm still not really good at that, but I learned a lot by just using Photon.
I think that's like an interesting takeaway of just about like the state that, you know, the tools that are related to these engines are at, is that you don't need to learn all of the details of what you're implementing, because there are these really great libraries out there that you can use
Yeah.
to kind of like patch up some of the things you might not know. So that's pretty cool. Um, let's see what we have here. So you mentioned Mackey's Adventure didn't sell too well on PC. How did you manage to successfully pitch it to a publisher for a console version? What was the struggle with that? How did you get involved with the publisher?
To be honest, I think East Asia is more like they publish everything. So the game is not quality sealed by having like a publisher for consoles, because Mackey's Adventure is a really good game in my opinion, and people loved it. But most publishers turned me down because the game did not sell enough to make a console version out of it. But then
Mhm.
East Asia reached out, and I don't even know why, because I thought the game would never be coming into consoles because the numbers were too low to be on consoles. It's not a miracle. It's just not big enough to be a console game, in my opinion. But
Mm.
they reached out and liked the game, liked the whole direction, the story around it. And then I was like, "Do you really want to publish the game? It didn't really do well." And they were like, "We want to try it out. Why not?" And
Yeah.
then they had to fight with my German code because Monkey Strange was my first big game, so I mixed German and English in the code, like code architecture a lot. And I wrote German comments and stuff because I'm from Germany and I didn't really knew how to write clean code, good code, and stuff like that. And they often reached out and said, "Why would you do something like that to us?" And I'm like, I don't even know, because Monkey Stranger has way more than 100,000 lines of code. It's like a huge project, and
Mhm.
I'm really sad about that, to be honest, because the porting people, there was one guy, and the lucky thing is that the porting person speaks German, so he could understand my code. But if
Mhm.
he wouldn't know German, then it would be a nightmare for him, I would think. But yeah, I'm
Right.
happy and lucky that they could speak German and they understood my code, but I learned a lot. Never write a single line of German code again, and just use English for the code, like for the variable names, for the comments, and for the classes and stuff like that. But this is something that you will learn on your journey. As I
Mhm.
said, I learned everything. I started as a complete noob, as a catastrophe in coding. Um, my brother is like a really good coder, and he always came in my room and said, "Why would you write something like that?" Like for the settings, because some people may do the same, but for my like UI scrolling with a controller, I have like one big array of buttons and elements, and just have if statements. So if button index equals 0, then go to 1. If 1, go to 2.
Right.
And that's like 30 lines of if statement, but not a single line of switch. So I don't really use switch cases. I just write if and else and stuff like that. So my code is terrible, but as I said, I focus on the gameplay and I don't really care about writing clean code as long as the performance is good enough to run on mobile phones, on Steam, on PC.
Totally. Yeah, I feel like the people who are the most successful are the people who can do everything at a base level and might excel in one or two things. And that seems to me like you're one of those people who's competent in at a base level in all of the fields required to make games, right? Like art,
Yeah,
programming, marketing, that kind of stuff. So yeah. You had some early market validation from Twitter and TikTok, right?
yeah.
How did that translate into a continuous marketing push? You mentioned on one interview that you had the demo out after a week of development. Is that right?
Mhm.
How
The
did you
demo was out after 2 weeks. So
2 weeks?
the development started in I think 7th of March, and then the demo came out in the 20th of March.
Okay. How did you maintain the hype, right? So you have these viral posts and then into the demo release. What was the process like for that?
I was really feared that the game would be irrelevant when the game came out, so I was more like, I hope that people even care about that. But maybe it was better because people had like a break from like the content there. Because I think if they would play the demo 1 week before the game came out, then they wouldn't make the full game content as early as possible, you know. So I
Mm.
was happy that they had like a few months of break and then could dive into the full game again, because there was too like not enough time to forget the game, but enough time to make new content directly when the game came out. So I think having a demo launching 2 or 3 months before the game launches is a perfect time because people can make content then. And people need time to make content, of course. People, like the editors take their time to make good content, to edit the content good. So sometimes people recorded the videos like 2 months ago and it came out today. It's really funny because I thought it was a bug at Steam because I saw a video today from a streamer who played a version which, like in the video, there's a version that came out like from an update 2 months ago with many bugs. And I was like, holy shit, I thought that I fixed the bugs and like there should be a patch on Steam. But then I realized that the recording is 2 months ago and it's crazy, but sometimes they just need more time because they have a full schedule. So make the demo as early as you can and it will work out in the end. If the game is good enough, they will remember it. They will make it on their wish list. And even like streamers like Cartoons, HTO Delirious even put it on their wish list, which made me really happy when I saw the demo video. And they won't forget about the game as soon as you, as long as you don't have like 2 years between demo and full game launch, of course.
Totally, that makes sense. And that's one of those pieces where, you know, it's important to make the game fun as well, because if you have great marketing and a great appeal and streamers try it and they don't like it, they won't come back to it in 3 months, right? So
Yeah.
that makes a lot of sense. We have probably enough time for 1 or 2 more questions. So let's do 1 or 2 more. So you've had actually, I think you answered that one in the slides. Let's see.
Yeah, but I have enough time so we can do until 15 or 20 past. So
Okay.
it's not a problem for me. So
Okay,
we can
cool.
answer, I think, everything here because I have nothing to do in the evening here. I just watch some devlogs and make some food here, so I have enough time to answer more questions.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for sticking around. That's great.
No worries.
So, you know, one of your things that I thought was interesting was you took a break from working on Rogue Jungle to make Paddle Paddle Paddle. There's a couple stories I've seen from successful indie devs who have made a breakout hit in a short amount of time after taking a break. You know, is the motivation for that to like reinvigorate yourself and try something new when you might be kind of feeling
Yeah.
like one project's lagging along? And do you think that helps in like a with the success of the game and the amount of effort you're able to put into it?
I think so, because with Rogue Jungle, I was more like, I don't really want to work on this game right now anymore. But when I took like 3 months or 4 months to make Pede Pede Pede, right now I'm really excited to work on Rogue Jungle again. Because sometimes you just need a break from your long project. And that's what I meant with taking breaks to avoid burnout. Because for me, it's like if I work on a game for 1 year, even if it's my dream game like Monkey's Adventure, if you play the game every single day, work on the game every single day for like 1 or 2 years, then you cannot really avoid burnout because at least for me, I don't have this energy right now to focus on one game for years because I just want to get games out. And I'm like a person who needs feedback from people. So I need at least a demo after 1 year of development and cannot really work on one game for 3 years and then launch a demo because I think it's like because I want to live from games the next year, so I cannot really take this risk to develop a game over years now. So making Pede 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 showed me that even like a smaller amount of time can lead to a way bigger success if you have like a like more targeted game with like a target audience of like rage game gamers and like a big streamer potential for the game. And Rogue Jungle, right now, I'm really excited to work on Rogue Jungle again, but I really have to make more Pede 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 content first, and the level editor and the console port. So I will make Rogue Jungle next year and finish it, but I will focus on Pede 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 before that.
Cool. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think that's, you know, there was that How to Market a Game article a few weeks ago about this kind of great conjunction thing, encouraging developers like take a break, work on a smaller game, and see if that helps with, you know, having a successful smaller game. So I think that's a piece of advice that a lot of devs could benefit from. Lightseeker asks, in terms of marketing, if you were to start from zero and brand new game, no following at all, what steps would you take first in terms of social media? How frequently should one post? I guess that depends on the platform, but what would be your focus if you could start from scratch?
Yeah, the funny part is 3 of my friends are motivated right now and inspired to make their own games, and I know them from university, so they're good friends of mine, personal. And I saw them and helped them to create their Twitter account, so their X account. I think it's like, but I still call it Twitter, so I don't really care about the name change.
I think everyone does.
it's really important to just get posts out regularly because they expect to have like a viral post at the first time, and I'm like, no, it won't happen like that. You have to build up a fan base there, a community to build up, because there are people who just want to play Zoroarks or Matteo games, you know. They don't really care about the game. They just want to play games I make because they like enjoy the way how I make games and follow me on TikTok, on Twitter. So having like a community and fan base, like you know Thomas Brush, he's like a huge channel on YouTube,
Yep.
and he has like a big follower base who just want to play the games because they're made by Thomas Brush. Like myself, I like Pinstripe, I like Neversong, I like Fuzzer or Twisted Tower right now, but I just want to play them because they're made by Thomas Brush. So it's really worth it to build up a fan base of people or like a community of people who want to play your games, and it won't go like that in one day. It will be a long way, but it's really worth it to go that way. Because if you make games like me, you realize that you have to have like at least wish lists coming in when you make a new game. At least maybe like because 10 reviews on launch day are enough to make this positive ranking. 50 are enough to make this like very positive and stuff. And it's important to have like a really big fan base of like maybe 100 people on Discord who just write a review and support you in the early like hours of launch, because that way the whole game can change your life. Because there are people who have like 1,000 followers, like 1,000 people on the Discord, and then on launch day all the people make a review and the game had like 500 reviews on launch day because he has like a community. That's what I mean. You have to
Totally.
build up a community there who can help you over time to make the games better and more successful.
Yeah, that's certainly true. I think it goes back to what you said about wishlist velocity too. If you can have a great, week before launch because your community is really engaged and really involved, that just improves your visibility on the platform, right?
Yeah, I agree with Dean in the comments. I also think that building an audience is way more important to just get a wish list, because wish lists are just a number. But if you have an audience and an email list or like a Discord server, you have actual people behind it and not just like a Steam user who press wish list once in a while.
Totally. Yeah. And well, and also the ability to persist your audience
Yeah.
between games, right? That's how you grow and make a sustainable business, right?
I have one quote that I want to drop right here. I think having an email list is like a wish list for your developer studio. You know, you can either get a wish list for a game, or you can make an email list like a Discord server with wish list for your games, and not for one game but for all of your games. You know, because they will get the at everyone post for every game, every news, and not just one game that came out. You know, so I think having wish list is really important because of the Steam algorithm, but having like one thing like where you can gather people like outside of only this game is way more important, like a Discord. An email list is awesome. If you have like a list of streamers, content creators, just players who want to get early access at some point, because Steam handles the wish list themselves, but if you have like an email list, you can handle the emails yourself, you know. Or if you have like a Discord, you can write what you want and not just write out the Steam emails.
Totally. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
What are the parts about development that you enjoy the most? And has that changed after developing Paddle Paddle Paddle?
For me, it was always just making fun mechanics, like the shark diving and getting this like shark diving and Marcus Ranger feel right, getting this card building and Rogue Jungle. It's just building fun mechanics for me. I don't really want to like spend hours building like a world, for example. Like some people love to make level design. I just love to make fun mechanics, and I just love to make games that feel fun. So that's my like focus point, to make fun gameplay mechanics, like the pedal mechanic, the shark diving, the card merging mechanic in Rogue Jungle. I just love to make fun gameplay mechanics, and I don't want to focus on one game style. I make roguelikes, I make racing games, I make rage games, I make 2D platformers. So I make everything that I just want to make, and don't really like limit myself to one genre like some other devs do.
Cool. Yeah, that's awesome. I think that's, on some level, I feel like every dev gets into this because they love games and that aspect of it, right? So yeah, that's super cool. Why? So some people are saying there's like a discourse online about keeping your demo up after release. Did you keep the demo up after release for Paddle Paddle Paddle? And what's your kind of opinion on this?
I tried it, but to be honest, like I had a separate Photon ID for the demo and for the full game, but the demo had way more players then because it's free on Steam, and I still had to pay the Steam fee, like the Photon fee. And for
Mhm.
Photon, I pay $120 per month just to have like the 500 CCUs, so 500 people can play at the same time.
Mhm.
But having this like cost every month just to get a free demo running was just too much for me. Right now it is like this cost would be nothing for me, of course, because like Steam revenue comes in. But on the first days, I took it down because I just had €0 earned by Pede 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 and just spent my own like earned money from a university job going to this like Photon server cost. And if you
Right.
have like two different IDs, then you have like $250 you have to pay, because like two separate like packages.
Yeah, makes sense. And then you're also maintaining two games, right? Like you have two
Yeah,
separate app IDs, and yeah,
it's too much for solo dev.
makes sense. How did you decide on the price for the game? That's something I think is not talked about enough in like indie dev spaces. How do you think about how much to charge?
Just look at other games. Look what Chain Together cost, what Carry the Glass cost, what Only Up cost, and don't go over Chain Together, in my opinion. In my case, because Chain Together is like the top. There's not like a. I think maybe Only Up did better, but Chain Together had like millions of sales. They are way better financially than Pede Pede Pede, and way bigger of a hype, I think. But
Mhm.
I just look what they take, and then I try to take a lower price than Chain Together. I think. Let me quickly check what Chain Together has of a price, and then I can confirm that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they also have €5. So I also took €5 because I didn't really want to go higher than them. That
Yeah, it
was
makes
my
sense.
only like thing to care about.
Yeah, it's like, especially as indies, right? We don't have access to the same kind of like market research that some larger studios might have with more resources. And so sometimes the best we can do is just, what's the alternative doing? What's the competition doing?
Yeah.
Cool. So you mentioned a lot about in-person events as a great way to play test. What was the impact on these in-person events on wish lists? Was there actually a noticeable wish list increase from these events?
For me, only for Gamescom because it's a huge event with a front page banner. So I had like a lot of units sold because the game was out already, and I sold thousands of units just because Gamescom, and it was a big boost with Monkey's Adventure 2 1 year ago, and with Rogue Jungle 2 because I had like 3 Gamescoms in a row, and all my games did great because Gamescom is just like a big event with like a big front page feature on Steam. But most other smaller events don't even have like a Steam feature, so they are just for in-person feedback. But events like Gamescom, Gamesground, maybe something like a Comic Con somewhere in your near, who have like a Steam event in the indie area, can be really good for the game. But most events don't have like most local smaller events don't have a Steam page, but are just good for feedback.
Right, that makes sense. But that's important too. And you mentioned the connection element too. You can meet people in the
Yeah.
industry who might be able to help you out.
It's really important for me to do, also for everyone, but also for me to do that, to meet people, go to parties, and yeah.
Yeah, sounds good. I think we'll do one more question. Do you look at modern games or older games for the price comparison? Says Dean in the chat. So when you're picking a price, just you just look at the biggest game in that genre currently.
For me, it's like, of course, it's like Rage Co-op Friends Lab games. It's really new. So Chain Together came out, I think, a year or maybe 2 years ago. So they are not really old. But I try to look at the like games that are right now trending, like Chain Together, for example, as I said. And I just look at their price. But for Monkey's Adventure, of course, pixel art platformers existed for years, decades ago. For Monkey's Adventure, I took a look at the Hollow Knight Steam page and saw they took, I think, $20. So I took around $10 because I think my game is not as good as Hollow Knight, so I take like half of their price for Monkey's Adventure. And for Rogue Jungle, I will also take like about €4 to €5 because I think most like roguelikes like Vampire Survivor, Brotato cost around €5, so I don't really want to go higher than them. Because that way people have more expectations because Steam users really care about the price and really are tending to press on refund as soon as they can. So you shouldn't really mess with them and just go with a price that seems fair for everyone.
Yeah, I think anyone who posts their game on social media will tell you that the
Yeah.
number one comment you get is how much will the game cost every single time.
Mhm.
So, Okay, here's a fun one just to end it off. You mentioned in your interview with Jonas Tyroller that you like the soundtrack of like Pokemon games. What's the
Yes.
best song from Pokemon Pearl in your opinion?
Oh man, I like the is it a casino? Like this I don't know the English names of the cities because of course I played in German language, but there was like the Team Galactic headquarter in
Yeah,
the city, and there was like the casino, you know. Maybe
yeah,
I
I
can
think
find it quickly and then send it over, but I love this like energetic soundtrack and I love the chiptune effect on it. And
yeah,
I think I
cool.
will find it quickly because I think it's really popular.
Sounds
Pokemon
good.
Pearl.
I think I know the one you're talking about. I'm
Is
not
it an
sure.
arcade? Maybe the arcade OST?
I know there is a place where you can gamble in that game. I don't remember where it is, but
Maybe gambling. Gambling. Maybe you know that in the chat, right? Maybe you know this, like, yeah, the game corner. This one here is awesome. For the chat here, I
cool.
will post it in here.
Yeah, share it.
Um, that's my. Of course, it can feel like a shame because the game has so many good soundtracks, but for me, this when I heard it the first time, I was directly like, oh my god, it is fire, you know.
Yeah, makes you want to just, yeah. Cool. Yeah, well, if there's no other questions, thank you so much for joining us today. We'll share the slides and the recording with everyone in our community who couldn't make it. And thank you for those who've attended and been asking these great questions in the comments. Yeah.
You're
Thanks so
welcome.
much. This was awesome.
Yeah, I shared the Pede PDF in the chat here. There's like my slides in there, but I will also share it with the team, with you, and then you can share it in the announcement tab, you know.
Perfect. And we'll
Because,
also, yep, go ahead.
yeah, I don't know if the chat will be active here, but I will also answer more questions. If you have questions, you can also send me a DM here on Discord or like an email. I can quickly send the email or maybe Twitter. Twitter is the best spot. I will quickly send in my Twitter account, then you can send me a DM there if you have any questions outside of the talk here.
Great. Yeah. And
On
we'll
email,
see.
but the email is also in the Twitter description in my Twitter bio.
Awesome. And we'll send that out to the whole server too in our announcements channel
Awesome.
to leave a
Thank you.
link. Yeah. Thanks so much for joining us. This was great.
It was awesome. I had a big pleasure here. It was really cool to talk to you and share my knowledge. And chat was really cool. The questions were cool, and it was a really enjoyable time here.
Yeah, likewise. Thanks so much. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
See ya.